Hi there, Kieran Ryan coming at you with a cardio health tip. This is cardio health tip number one, balancing your blood sugar. Balancing your blood sugar. Why do it? Well, it will reduce inflammation in your body, including in your arteries and your gut. As you know, cardiovascular disease is caused by inflammation of the arteries. When your arteries become damaged, they become inflamed, and so your body, in an effort to protect them, calcifies the arteries. It adds cholesterol and calcium to the arteries to form a plaque, and this plaque then hardens and protects the arteries. And obviously, the problem is this ongoing process will narrow your arteries, causing heart disease. So, if we can reduce the inflammation, which is caused by damage to the arteries, if we can reduce the actual damage that's been caused there, we can reduce inflammation, and in so doing, we can protect your arteries from becoming calcified. It will also help you if you have any gut problems for similar reasons, in that gut problems often have to do with inflammation going on in the gut, and balancing your blood sugar will actually help you with any gut problems, and it will definitely help you if you have candida or such problems like that. It will improve your energy levels. If you're suffering with low energy levels, you're having slumps during the day, you're feeling tired at lunchtime, this is going to help you. This will help you get an even keel and feel like you've got energy throughout the entire day. It will reduce excess body weight. If you're overweight, this will help you come back down to what a good weight is for you, to whatever your ideal weight is. Improve mood and concentration. This is going to help you if you're feeling ratty or down or depressed, irritated. This is going to really help you feel much better. Also, with your concentration, if you're finding it hard to focus during the day, this will really help. Recover from type 2 diabetes. So type 2 diabetes is when your pancreas has become knackered from overworking. This is going to give your pancreas a rest, and so give your pancreas time to actually heal itself and improve your situation. And address any hormonal imbalances. So for men, you might have low testosterone, which leads to low libido, but for women, it's quite common to get PMS, or to have problems with fertility, or to have other problems like polycystic ovary syndrome. These can all be helped through balancing your blood sugar. So what should healthy blood sugar actually look like? Well, if you can imagine at the start of your day, your blood sugar is low as you wake up, and then cortisol kicks in. Cortisol is released from your adrenal glands, and cortisol gets the fat to break down in your body, to break down and become sugar. So your glucose levels, and glucose is the preferred fuel in the body, your glucose level goes up, and as it continues to go up during the day, you feel more energy throughout the entire day, and then naturally it comes right back down again. Now, this is all based on the idea that during the day you're fueling yourself with good quality food. You're maybe having brown bread and beans for breakfast. This sort of food is releasing glucose slowly into your bloodstream. So you're getting this constant supply of glucose, and by the time it comes to lunch, you have a good healthy lunch, more glucose is released into your bloodstream, and as the evening kicks in, you have some good quality snacks, and you're able to taper off and come right back down by the time evening time has happened. So then at night time, you're sleeping really well, your hormonal system is working perfectly well, and you're ready to start a new day fresh again the next day. Now, here's what happens to a lot of people these days, because these days we're eating a lot of processed foods, like refined carbohydrates, refined grains. We're eating a lot of sugar, and all these things break down in your body very quickly and turn into glucose very quickly. Now the problem is that glucose is quite corrosive in your system. So what your body does, it needs to get the glucose out of your bloodstream as fast as possible. So at the start of the day, you wake up and your blood sugar kicks in, and you go downstairs and you make yourself a breakfast, and what do you have? Nice white processed croissant with sugary jam inside it, and a nice cup of coffee, and maybe some sugary breakfast cereal. Very nice, gives you a nice start to the day. You feel your blood sugar go up, you feel your glucose go up, you're feeling good. It goes up to a certain point, but your body feels, okay, now I need to get rid of all this glucose outside, so I'll release insulin. So insulin's released from your pancreas, and insulin does two jobs. It gets the cells to take up the glucose to turn it into energy, or it converts the energy to, or it converts the glucose to fat. So the insulin kicks in, the cells use up the energy, or it converts it to fat, and you shoot right back down. Because you've had this really sugary breakfast, what's after happening, it's a bit like, instead of throwing a log on the fire, it's a bit like you've thrown gasoline on the fire. You get this sudden whoosh, but then you get this, slump, because you're not getting this constant supply of energy. You're just getting this really quick supply of energy. So it's all gone and you're feeling low. And by the time lunchtime's kicked in, you're feeling really tired and low, and you maybe want to have a nap. So you probably can't, because maybe you're working or whatever your situation is. So what do? You have some coffee, you have maybe a cigarette, some sugary foods, something that will get your glucose level up again. So your glucose level shoots up again, the insulin kicks in, and so you're on this roller coaster all day. It's going up and down and up and down and up and down. Now here's the problem. Your cells, when they have the maximum amount of glucose that they can possibly take, they will shut off their receptors. They don't want to listen to insulin anymore. They have heard enough from insulin. I'm not taking in any more glucose, I have enough. So over time, these cells will actually become insulin resistant, meaning they no longer respond to the insulin. So they no longer take the energy in. So as we see, at first you're getting this big shot, and then it's coming, then you're slumping, and then as you go up again, this time a lot of your cells have turned off a lot of their receptors, so it's not actually going up as high. So you can see it's not actually going up as far this time, and then you come back down. And if we were to continue drawing this graph, it would actually just keep getting lower as the cells shut down more and more, and lower and lower and lower. So you're actually, if this is the baseline here, as you can see where the green line is, that's where you should be during the day. That's optimal. You're actually probably hyperactive when you're up here. So this is where you should be. You're actually now just functioning underneath it all the time, and you're feeling low all day. So you feel kind of crappy. So what is the other thing that insulin does? Well, as I mentioned, it not only converts glucose to energy, but it also stores glucose as fat. So if the cells are not taking up the glucose to use as energy, where is it going to go? Well, the insulin's going to get it to convert all of it into fat. So as well as feeling tired, you start putting on a lot of weight. A lot of weight. So when you're down here, as you get lower, in order to keep, like, we can keep this even keel throughout the day, because if there's any little slumps along the way, your body releases more cortisol from the adrenal glands, and cortisol gets the fat to break back down. And this is a natural cycle that happens to you throughout the day. Your blood sugar goes up, your insulin levels go up, but as your insulin level goes up, your blood sugars go back down again because you're using it all up. So cortisol kicks in, which then gets the fat to break down again, and your blood sugar level goes back up. And so your body can maintain itself quite well with these three methods. But as mentioned, if we have this very quick surge of blood sugar, we get a lot of insulin being pumped out, which tires your pancreas and causes type 2 diabetes. And, we get this big surge of cortisol. And if this is fine for a while, but after a while, your adrenals can actually become knackered. And at that point, you're feeling a lot of stress. You're feeling highly, highly stressed. With low adrenaline levels and low cortisol levels means high levels of, it just means absolute fatigue, And when your cortisol levels are permanently high running around your system all the time, you're feeling very stressed out, because your body is in fight and flight mode, It's in the I want to run away from a saber-toothed tiger sort of mode. Not in the, I want to be dealing with problems in the office level of stress. So it's not ideal to be running around with high levels of cortisol all the time either. Now, cortisol is a steroid hormone, and all your sex hormones are steroid hormones as well. So if cortisol levels, if all your cholesterol, interestingly enough, is what creates them, if that's all going into making cortisol, then you're not actually going to have enough for your other hormones, and they're actually going to go down and feel depleted, and that's why people will suffer with hormonal imbalances as well because of blood sugar imbalance. So what can you do about this? Well, actually it's not too complicated. If you've let this go for a while, you've put on a lot of weight, or you're just feeling absolutely knackered all the time, or you have type 2 diabetes or any of the problems I described before, it can totally be reversed. That's the great news. Also, if you haven't gone that far, then you really just want to get a handle on this so that you never actually progress down that level, you know. Sometimes people don't show the symptoms on the outside, but I did know one lady, and she, although she looked fine on the outside, and she was a bit tired during the day, to be honest, but otherwise nothing too serious. She found when she had her arteries actually tested, they found that she had very aged arteries, and this was because she was eating a lot of sugar during the day. So her blood sugar was going up a lot, and this was causing inflammation of her arteries. So sometimes it doesn't show on the outside, so it's always best to follow this type of a protocol. Now, this will work with any type of diet that you're actually eating. Just obviously, if you're vegetarian or you're on a no grains diet or whatever it is for you, you can totally work this in with what you're currently doing. So eat a whole food diet of complex carbs, not simple sugars. So if you're going to eat carbs, which the vast majority of us do, then make sure they're complex. Now, brown rice, brown pasta, brown bread, anything that's been unrefined. The refining process takes away the fiber, takes away a lot of the nutrients, and makes it turn into glucose a lot quicker. So simple sugars are things like table sugar and sweeteners. They're simple sugars, so they're the worst thing to take. So the best thing to take is anything that's been unrefined. Avoid processed foods. They're artificially full of sugar and preservatives. You read the back of them, anything with all the syrups, they're all different types of sugars. So are glycogens. There's a whole big list of sugars that they try to disguise what sugar actually is. Lots of fructose corn syrups and things like that. So just watch out for processed foods. They're always full of sugar. I was going to buy a pizza there the other day, and I read the back of the label, and there was actually more sugar than spinach in it. So I put it back. I just, it's the problem is if you're not going to be making your own food at home and you're relying a lot on supermarket food, you are going to be getting a lot of sugar into your diet. Eat protein with each meal. Protein really slows down the breakdown of carbohydrate, so it will slow the whole process down, giving you more even keel throughout the day. So for example, with your breakfast, eggs on toast, not a bad start, because the eggs will slow down the carbohydrates with the toast and give you a much more even level of blood sugar. Always eat breakfast. Breakfast is by far the most important meal throughout the day. Breakfast, if you were to take if you were to have 3 meals during the day and breakfast was really good and the other two were crappy, or your first meal was kind of crappy and the other two were actually really good, which do you think would actually turn out better? It's of course the breakfast, because you actually balance your blood sugar throughout the day based on what kind of food you first have in the day. Your body responds to the very first meal you have, and then it calibrates itself throughout the day based on that meal. So never ever skip breakfast. And if you're trying to lose weight, skipping breakfast is a terrible idea. Any temporary loss in weight you'll quickly put back on again. You won't be able to keep it off. So breakfast, instead of trying to actually cut down on calories, try to balance your blood sugar. I guarantee you this will cause you to lose weight far more efficiently and far more healthier than if you were just trying to take calories out of your diet. You can in fact eat the same amount of calories, but if you eat complex carbs, proteins, instead of simple sugars, you can eat the same amount of calories and still lose weight. You'll come to your optimum level. Combined with exercising, you'll have a lot more energy, so you can actually exercise, and combined with exercise, it's the best and most ideal way to actually reach your optimum body fat levels. So one more tip: Eat at least 3 meals a day, six if you're hypoglycemic. So 3 meals a day is great because if you have a good breakfast and a good lunch and a good dinner, and you can snack, maybe have some fruit or something during the day. But if you're eating those 3 good meals a day, then your body is going through this natural process of, as we explained here, of your blood sugar, your insulin, cortisol levels. These are actually all balancing each other out quite nicely. Now, if you're hyperglycemic, you've already gotten into a state where you're insulin resistant, you've got low blood sugar, you're tired all the time. You actually need to eat about 6 times a day because you need to kind of spoon feed your body with a consistent level of sugar because it just won't get enough sugar from 3 meals a day because it's just not taking it up fast enough. So you'll need to do that for a while. And when you start feeling better, you can come back down. So they mightn't be, instead of having three kind of big meals during the day, you'll have to break those portions up into six and rather just keep feeding yourself throughout the day with these different meals in order to give yourself the constant supply. And over time, your body will readjust. As long as you're eating the right types of foods, your body will readjust and you'll bounce back. I myself actually had hypoglycemia years ago. Um, and yeah, it took a bit of time. It did take some time. I used to come back myself. I was out. I used to work half a day, come back from work and literally be so tired. I finished work around 12 o'clock noon and I'd be so tired I couldn't even get up off the couch. I had adrenal exhaustion, hyperglycemia, and this is what I had to start doing. And did it work? Yes, it did. Today I've got great energy levels. Today I've energy throughout the entire day. So you will bounce back completely. Now, it's not my body type to actually put on fat. I'm just not that type of person. I'm a high adrenaline person. I burn off fat very quickly, and putting on weight is more difficult for me than actually losing it. That's just my genetical makeup. Um, but it doesn't mean I don't get affected. I do get overly tired. I do get adrenally exhausted as well. So, it's different for person to person. You might be the person that puts on weight easy. You might be the person that just gets very tired very quickly. You might be both, unfortunately. And but whatever it is, eating properly will solve the problem for you. So if you have blood sugar problems or you just want to improve your blood sugar, there's two things I'd recommend you start using. One is chromium. You can supplement that. Always look for higher brand supplements. Don't cheap out. Don't go for the cheapest one you get. They're usually rubbish. They usually don't work very well. Usually the thing is, the more money you generally pay for something, the better the quality. As a general rule of thumb, I know it's not always the case, but if you can go for a better brand of chromium, it will be absorbed much better into your system and it becomes glucose tolerance factor. Now, glucose tolerance factor helps you to regulate your insulin levels and will help you to bounce back from any blood sugar problems that you have. Cinnamon is brilliant. It turns into, or it works kind of like insulin in your body, but it doesn't cause insulin resistance. So it can lower the impact of any sugary foods or any sugar that you're taking into your system. It just helps it get into the cells faster and become energy quicker. So it's really good. Have it on your porridge in the morning, or have it on have it throughout the day. Use it in your cooking. It's a really healthy spice. Now, some good sugar substitutes. Well, some good sugar substitutes. If you are looking, okay, you're thinking now, okay, great, I can't eat white sugar anymore. I loved it. I can't snack on chocolate bars all day. I love them. I need something sweet, or I will go absolutely crazy. I will be eating the ends of my fingers. What can I do? Well, here are a few different substitutes you could use. One is xylitol. Xylitol, it tastes just like sugar. It's actually, in fact, a little bit sweeter, but it has a low glycemic load. That means that it converts to glucose very slowly. So even though it tastes just as sweet, you can eat it and not actually unbalance your blood sugar. So it's a great substitute. You can cook with it. You can do anything. You can do regular sugar. The only thing is, if you have a lot of this to begin with and your system's not used to it, it can irritate your gut and give you the runs. Now, that's because you just haven't produced enough of the right type of enzyme. Xylitol does occur naturally in fruits, but you're just not used to taking concentrated forms of it. But your body will start up regulating its levels of enzymes to break the xylitol down. So you just need to get used to it. Cut back a little bit and then you can use some more. The second one is palm sugar, coconut sugar. This stuff is really special. It's really amazing. It's a type of sugar that comes from coconut trees. It comes from the flowers of the trees, and it turns into glucose very slowly, but it has a wonderful taste. It's very sweet, and it can be used as a sugar substitute, no problem. Another one is agave nectar. Agave is a fructose syrup, but it wouldn't be as bad now as say high corn syrup or something like that. It's ideal for cooking. It's ideal for making cakes and things. You can even pour a little bit of it onto your breakfast and stuff like that, as long as it's a good breakfast. But for intensive purposes of balancing blood sugar, it's absolutely brilliant. Stevia, it's a herb and it's very sweet again, and it has a bit of an aftertaste some people don't like, but it's quite nice, and you can use it as a sugar substitute. So that's just to give you. I've written tree down twice, so anyway, ignore that. But it's just to give you some options here, and so that you know what to do. So if you're thinking to myself, how can I get by without sugar? Well, this is how. So look for these things. You can buy them in your health food store, and you can start using these, and these will help you balance your blood sugar. Now, just some menu ideas. I'll just run through this real quick. Say it's the what can I actually eat? Like you're talking about whole foods, Kieran, can you give me some example? Well, spelt is great. Spelt bread, spelt toast, rye bread. That's really good. As I said, mix it with protein, so eggs on toast. Whole grain muesli. We're just looking for the whole grains again. Goat's yogurt. Goat's yogurt is special food. It's just wonderful for your body. It's very close. Goat's milk is very close to human's milk actually in its makeup, and so it's just very healthy in that your body can utilize this very well. Have it with fruit. Is fruit sugary? Is fruit a problem? No, it's not. Fruit does contain a lot of sugars, but they are combined with fiber, and if you juice them, you'll lose all the fiber, and they will raise your blood sugar quite a lot, but otherwise the fiber will slow down the breakdown of the sugar, and you'll actually get quite an even level. We're quite designed to run on fruit actually. Our teeth and the fact that we love sweet things so much shows us that from an evolutionary standpoint we were fruit eaters for a lot of our evolutionary period, so do eat a lot of fruit. Beans on toast. Beans are a great source of protein, so you're having them on toast again. Fruit smoothies, omelets again, eggs. Porridge is very good. It improves your mood. It actually improves tryptophan in the brain, which makes you feel happy. But also porridge oats will turn into sugar very slowly. So but they have a lot of calories, so they'll keep you going till lunchtime. For lunch, again, anything whole grain, wholemeal, pita bread, falafels, salad, that sort of thing. Salad's great for you, not particularly high in calories or sugar, but it's great for you. Sandwiches on rye or spelt bread, as we're talking about. Baked sweet potatoes. Use sweet potatoes and yams. Don't use white potatoes so much. They turn to sugar very quickly. Lean meats, fish, chickens, all protein, no problem there. That's not about sugar then. See, your body can use protein as a form of energy. It will use it as a form of energy, so you can have proteins as much as you want. Vegetable soups, beans again is protein, and pulses are proteins. Quinoa salads. Quinoa is the mother of all grains. It's actually a seed, and it's got the highest quality protein you will find in the world. Now, it mightn't be the densest type of protein like in fish or meat, but its balance of amino acids is far superior. So if you're looking for protein, you're a bodybuilder or something, and you're thinking, I want the best protein, it's actually quinoa. So look out for quinoa, look for it on the shops. If you had that with vegetables and stuff, you think, oh, where's the protein? Well, the protein's actually in the quinoa. Only takes about 10 minutes to boil as well. So great stuff. Steamed veg. Tofu, again, excellent source of protein. I could start talking about phytoestrogens and all. Listen, don't worry, there's a lot of scare about them. They're not going to make anything grow where it's not supposed to, or make you more effeminate, or you'll lose your masculinity or something. That's people are mixing it up with xenoestrogens, which they find in soft plastics. There's more chance of the stuff that say you buy the cheese and it's wrapped with a soft plastic. There's more chance of estrogens going in there and them causing estrogen imbalances in your body, not the actual tofu with the phytoestrogens, which are actually healthy and great for women, in particular. Dinner. Home prepared meals, you're going to have to start cooking more, folks. That's the simple thing. If you rely on those takeouts and you rely on those supermarket foods, you're going to have blood sugar problems. That's why we're seeing so many problems. People are eating so much processed food these days. You've got to start cooking at home. That's the secret to good health. That's why your grandparents didn't get these sort of diseases. They might be getting cardiovascular disease now, but that's only because they've switched their diet when they were younger and their parents didn't have pro- same type of problems to the extent that we're having them now. We're seeing year on year cardiovascular disease, cancer, all these different problems, diabetes. We're seeing it actually growing, and despite drugs being produced, they're not working because essentially these problems are growing more and more every year. So we need to start looking at the diet. We need to start looking at what's actually causing the disease in the first place instead of trying to stick a band-aid on it later on. Brown basmati rice, wonderful stuff. Great for your blood sugar. Basmati rice is brilliant. If you can make it brown, even better. Whole wheat or spelt pasta, we talked about that already. Tofu, vegetables, meats, fish, beans, pulses. We talked about all this. Noodles, you can have them as just different types of noodles. Obviously, if you can get unrefined, it's much better. Rice noodles, egg noodles, they're all fine. Homemade sauces, make them yourself. Don't buy them in a jar, full of sugar in a jar. Sweet potatoes, yams. I mean, if you can go to a healthy store, you've got a good supermarket that has very authentic ingredients. Read the back of it. If it's a big, huge, long list of ingredients, don't buy it. If it's a really short list, go for it. The less ingredients that's in it, the better that food is for you. Snacks, fruit, as I say, is great. Flapjacks made of oats, great. Yogurts, protein, oatmeal, biscuits, and muffins. When I had hypoglycemia, I used to eat a lot of oat cakes, which were like a wholemeal biscuit. Very good for balancing my blood sugar. So I would snack on them because I'd need to eat throughout the day to get my blood sugar back on an even keel. I remember the 6 meals. I would snack on them, and I'd put nut butter. Nuts are a type of protein, a lot of protein and fat in them. Didn't really talk about fat in this, but fat is fine. Saturated fat is absolutely fine for helping you with your blood sugar. Just obviously avoid trans fats. That's when you get a fat and you heat it way too much, or you hydrogenate oils. Like deep fat fried food. Stay away from deep fat fried food. Terrible for you. But nut butter, anyway, just gone back to this, I diverse. Nut butter, great for your blood sugar. So, excuse me, oatmeal biscuits are fantastic. If you can have them with nut butter on top, even better. And it's a tasty snack, keeps you going through the day, high in energy, loads of calories in it, so you're getting loads of energy, but at the same time keeping your blood sugar and your insulin levels really balanced. So giving your adrenals time to heal then, because they don't need to keep pumping out cortisol all the time, and keeping your stress levels low. Avoid refined foods such as white bread, it's a demon. Croissants, again. All the talk in the Mediterranean diet, and man, I see them eating, drinking so much coffee and croissants. Makes me wonder, but anyway. Pastries, bagels, pizza bases, white pasta, white rice. So stay away from refined foods. Not only have you lost all the B vitamins and and things like zinc and stuff, but uh, these components are actually essential for the breakdown and use of glucose and for energy production. So you've lost all the vitamins that you need to actually produce energy. But not only that, you also have this quick supply of glucose, which now can't be broken down properly, so no wonder it's causing so much problems. Not going to cause a problem if you eat it once or twice a week, but obviously on a day-to-day basis, that's where these long-term chronic diseases set in from. Processed foods such as ready meals and sauces, sweets, chocolate. Again, chocolate's just going to be full of sugar, right? So everybody loves a bit of chocolate, don't get me wrong, but just not to be snacking on it every day. Just to, save it as that nice little treat for, when you're in the cinema, or, pick your times when you're going to have your chocolate rather than just mass consume it. Alcohol, it converts to sugar really quickly. It's, you drink a lot, you feel tired the next day. It's because your blood sugar had this huge whack of sugar the night before. You drank some pints of lager, beer, or wine. You got loads of sugar pumped into your system. Alcohol and that's why you felt so good at the time. One of the reasons, anyway. But you then feel a big downer the next day. And if you are finding that, the hangovers are just worse than ever, that they're going on for days on end, you're just feeling really low and really hungry. There's a hint there. You're feeling hungry because why? Because your blood sugar is low, so your body thinks, oh, yeah, you have to eat more. then you know that your blood sugar's out of whack, and you know that alcohol's really not helping you in that situation. So you need to cut back on alcohol, drink less often. Um, you know, just one healthy tip if you are drinking also is to, anything white spirits and all tend to be a lot clearer, and they tend to have less of an impact on your system, on your liver. Your liver is responsible for producing energy, so if you're hitting that a lot as well, it's going to really make you suffer in terms of energy levels as well. So, you know, a lot of people enjoy alcohol, they enjoy a glass of wine. Continue to enjoy it, you know, but just don't make it a kind of ritual where you're at it all the time, because it will have serious health impacts. I don't need to talk too much about that anyway. Takeaway sauces, again, problem. Takeaways. Unless you're getting, unless it's a really good quality takeaway, you just don't know what's going into that food. You just don't know, and often it's really high sugar. Often it's full of trans fats. The oil, they've been cooking in the same oil all day, and it's now become lethal. It's very toxic for your system. Potatoes, including crisps and chips, turns to sugar fast. Breakfast cereals. There you go. They're absolutely loaded with sugar. Most of them, anyway, are full of sugar. You read the label, sugar is probably one of the first ingredients written down, showing that it's mostly made of sugar. So they've also refined them, so they turn to sugar faster, taking out all the good vitamins, put some more vitamins back in to fortify them, because they were causing national deficits because people were eating them all the time and not getting enough vitamins. So they actually have to spin some of the vitamins they've taken out back in. But it's a losing economy. Essentially, you're giving your body too many anti-nutrients like sugar and not enough proper nutrients. Tea and coffee stresses your adrenals, and over time will lead to adrenal exhaustion, which goes hand in hand with blood sugar problems. And last but not least, the main culprit, the maestro, the arch. What am I trying to? I'm trying to think of a word here. This is the mother load right here. This is the main thing. Table sugar. Obviously we've talked about sugar substitutes there. Just put them in your tea instead. Don't be putting table sugar into your tea, and don't be sprinkling it on anything or putting it anywhere near your mouth, for Christ's sake. For heaven's sake, don't step away from the table sugar. So, there's more and more there's more and more sugar being added to food every year. It's literally, the world's consumption of sugar goes up year by year, as does heart disease, diabetes, cancer. So do they, interestingly. Correlation, not causation, I know, but something to be looked at. And so white sugar is, it's that little demon that's probably causing more of the problems in the Western world, problems for the Western world in terms of chronic disease, than anything else. So let's cut back on the sugar. Let's use those sugar substitutes. It's not to say it's obviously it's taking a small amount is not going to have too much an effect on your system, but just be mindful. Just have a look at how much you're actually eating. Just read the labels, packets on things, and as I say, there's no need to keep it around the house. There's plenty of sugar substitutes you could be using instead. If your guests want a couple of spoons of sugar in their tea, give them the xylitol. They probably wouldn't even know the difference. You don't even have to tell them. So, listen, that's it. It's been great talking to you. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this training. I hope you get some real value out of it, and I hope you've picked up some tips that you can start using immediately. There's plenty more you can read on the subject. I've tried to make this training both short and complete so that you have a great idea about what actually happens, but you might need to go over it again. I've covered a lot of detail very quickly, and again, there's plenty of resources on the internet. If you check out my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Kieran Ryan Health, CIARAN RYANHEALTH. I also put up tips all the time. There's plenty of great books on Amazon. Low GL Diet by Patrick Colford. There's just put in blood sugar and see what you get. So listen, that's it for me. Thanks very much for listening, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye for now.